My name is Trevor Dunn, and film is an important part of my life. I'd like to share with you the films that matter to me the most. In this video, I will give you my 10 favorite films, starting with number 10, ending with my favorite. These are movies that I can't stop watching, and many scenes in each of these films fill up a lot of space in my head. My number 10 film is Heat. The first time I watched it was on a plane. Some may consider that a major foul, but I'm sorry, I had to download something, and I was right to pick it. Directed by Michael Mann, his style shines through. You feel everything that happens in the film. There's no lame effects. Everything feels authentic, from how the robbers plan out their heist, all the strategies the cops try to thwart the robbers. Everything has a purpose. Also, this is the first film to have Al Pacino and Robert De Niro share a scene together. When you ask people what their favorite scene is, they're probably going to say the bank heist, because it's the greatest shootout ever conceived. But a close second would be the scene when Al Pacino and Robert De Niro are face to face at a diner talking about if they made the right career choice, and both of them kind of have a mutual respect for the other, but they both realize only one of them is going to make it out alive. If you haven't seen Heat yet, it's currently on Netflix, and if some don't have Netflix, it's actually free on YouTube, so there's no excuse. You gotta watch Heat now. Number 9 for me is The Departed, the film that finally got Martin Scorsese's long-awaited Oscar. It might not be his greatest film in his filmography. That award might go to films like Raging Bull or Taxi Driver, but The Departed is a film I can constantly have on while I need to take an hour-long shower after watching Raging Bull or Taxi Driver. The Departed has an all-star cast, which really helps elevate the material because they're all giving 110%, and it's really fun to watch all these different A-listers bounce off each other. The Departed stars Leonardo DiCaprio and Matt Damon, alongside Jack Nicholson, Mark Wahlberg, Alec Baldwin, and Vera Farmiga. It's another story of a cop and a criminal trying to get the upper hand on each other, but both of them are living double lives. The cop is actually a criminal, and the criminal is actually a cop. The only streaming service that The Departed is currently on is Tubi, so you have to deal with some annoying ads, because Tubi ads pop in the middle of the scene without warning. So I'd recommend renting or buying The Departed at the moment. At number 8, I have The Sting. It is such an enjoyable romp. It is the story of two conmen, Jake Hooker, played by Robert Redford, and Henry Gondorff, played by Paul Newman. The two of them plan a big con on mobster Doyle Lonigan, played by Robert Shaw, because he had one of their friends killed. Me and my dad constantly say "ya falla" like Shaw's Lonigan. The Scott Joplin song "The Entertainer" is one of the happiest songs you'll hear. It puts you back to a simpler, easier going time. Redford and Newman are both extremely charismatic. They both have great chemistry on screen. Watching the two of them plan out their con is very fun, and seeing it in action is much better, because there are many unexpected elements in the way. If you love Better Call Saul, you would love The Sting. Currently, there are no free options to watch The Sting, but buying it or renting it is money well spent. Number 7, I have Boogie Nights. You wouldn't think a movie about the porn industry would be so fun. Does the shoe eventually turn on the other foot? Yes, but even then, it is still extremely entertaining. One of the greatest casts ever assembled, Paul Thomas Anderson had amazing foresight in 1997 because so many of these actors would become household names. The cast included Mark Wahlberg, Burt Reynolds, Julianne Moore, Heather Graham, Don Cheadle, Philip Seymour Hoffman, John C. Reilly, Luis Guzman, William H. Macy, Robert Ridgely, Thomas Jane, and Alfred Molina. Mark Wahlberg plays Eddie Adams, a young man with big, dreams, we'll say. He catches Jack Horner's eye, who's a filmmaker who sees a lot of talent in Eddie. Eddie eventually changes his name to Dirk Diggler to make himself more marketable. Along the way, he meets a cast of characters that are equally memorable, my favorite being John C. Reilly's Reed Rothschild, one of the funniest characters to ever be put on screen. Every minute with him is comedic gold. Boogie Nights is currently available on Showtime. Number 6, I have The Godfather. Many people consider it the greatest piece of fiction ever put to film, and I wouldn't argue with you. There's so many times where a parent or an authority figure tells you, "Oh, you have to watch this movie, it's amazing." And sometimes you kind of scoff at them like, "Okay, I'll see for myself." And The Godfather is one of those films that totally lives up to the hype. Based on the book by Mario Puzo, it chronicles the Corleone's family as they deal with strife and conflict in the mafia. I've been constantly watching this and part 2 during the Thanksgiving break because they've been running nonstop on Showtime. I think for the past, like, that 4-day block from Thursday to Saturday, it was on at all times, and I wasn't complaining because it's amazing film. Many people would say Marlon Brando is the best part of that film, but I would say Al Pacino as Michael Corleone is the greatest performance ever. My only issue with The Godfather is it kind of drags a little bit when Michael's in Italy. My problem with it is that while the Italy scenes are beautiful to watch, I'd rather just spend time with the family in New York. My favorite scene was probably the Louis restaurant scene.
Nicolò, tu mi capisci, no? Sei italiano come tuo padre? Tuo padre sta male. Quando tu sta meglio, il cambio ti fa un riunione e mettiamo tutto a posto. Sti fissaria, si deve finire.
The way Coppola uses the roaring train to express Michael's boiling emotions is brilliant. The Godfather is only available to stream on Showtime. Number 5 is Terminator 2 or T2. Pound for pound, the greatest action movie ever made. When James Cameron has a vision, you bet he's going to make it come to life. It took him 7 years to put out the sequel, and it was well worth the wait. Nothing looks dated in this film that's over 30 years old. Cameron created so many memorable set pieces, I'm still in awe on how he did the truck chase sequence. Like the rest of the films on this list, the music is so impressive. The score for the Terminator fills you with a sense of dread and excitement. When they show you that title card and you hear the ba-ba-ba-ba-ba, ba-ba-ba-ba-ba, it makes your heart rate go through the roof. Arnold Schwarzenegger and Robert Patrick were the perfect choices to play two cyborgs. That may sound like an insult, but it's not. I don't think very many actors can pull off looking like a robot the entire time. On to Sarah Connor, I'd say she's the most badass female character ever put to screen. She transforms from the meek Sarah Connor in the first film into basically a third Terminator. T2 is currently streaming on Paramount+. At number 4 I have Superbad. It's my favorite comedy. I think every generation has their favorite coming-of-age comedy. For my mom, it's Dazed and Confused, but for me, it's Superbad. The core three of Seth, Evan, and Fogel/McLovin is unbeatable. The fake ID scene is seared into my memory. The way all three of them play off each other, it still has me in stitches to this day. I'm a huge Bill Hader fan, so all the scenes with him and Seth Rogen are also hilarious. Superman doesn't only just hit the comedy beats, it also hits the emotional ones. You feel both for Evan and Seth as you realize they won't be seeing each other as much as they go off to college, and you kind of realize their relationship is kind of growing apart. I watched Superbad a lot during high school, so that ending scene on the escalator always kind of hits me in the feels.
Becca?
Bye, guys.
Bye, you guys.
Bye,
See you, Jules.
Yeah, it's funny. It's too funny.
Where do you want to go to eat?
So can you honestly help me figure out what kind of cover to get? 'Cause, I mean, I don't know.
I guess I'll always feel the same. Love is
Superbad was streaming on Netflix, but it got taken off at the end of November, so currently there's nowhere to stream it. Number 3 for me is The Social Network. I remember watching the Patriots vs. Falcons Super Bowl, and when the score got to the breaking point of 28-3, I, like many others, felt like the game was over. So I put on The Social Network and didn't look back till halfway till the fourth quarter. I don't have any regrets. I believe The Social Network is the greatest film of the 21st century. If you told someone that the best film of the 21st century was made about the making of Facebook, you kind of scratch your head, but the combination of David Fincher's direction and Aaron Sorkin's writing makes it work. They even make coding seem exciting. On the acting department, Andrew Garfield's performance as Eduardo Saverin definitely makes my shortlist for favorite performances. You feel bad for him, but he still has his edge to him. Jesse Eisenberg as Mark Zuckerberg is not as engaging, but that's kind of the point. Mark Zuckerberg isn't the most human, and Jesse Eisenberg nails his mannerisms. The Social Network is currently streaming on Netflix. My number 2 film is The Dark Knight. This was the first film I ever really became obsessed with. My brain was permanently altered after I watched the Joker rob the bank in the beginning. The action in The Dark Knight is out of this world.
Oh, you want to play? Come on. Come on.
Inspired by Heat, Christopher Nolan wanted to put that kind of action into a superhero film. Every single Joker line I think I have committed to memory. Is The Dark Knight a perfect film? No, it drags a bit at the end, and many people can poke holes in the Joker's plan, and Two-Face at the end is a little... It's not the best. But I don't really care. Every time I watch The Dark Knight, I'm transported back to my 12-year-old self, and I can't stop marveling at it. The Dark Knight is currently on Netflix. My favorite film ever is Goodfellas. No matter what else is happening, if I see Goodfellas on cable, I'm sitting down until it's over. Martin Scorsese created the greatest mob movie ever. Everything about it is perfect. The acting, atmosphere, music, sound design, cinematography, and script are all on point. Based on the real-life story of gangster Henry Hill, the film takes you under the hood of the mafia. But unlike The Godfather, Henry Hill isn't a mob boss, he's just an associate who can never be made into a true member of the Cosa Nostra. Also, unlike The Godfather, everyone in Goodfellas is kind of out for themselves. That idea of family is totally gone. My favorite scene is when Henry's all coked out and he's not sure if he's being chased by a helicopter or it's just the drugs talking.
Making your money to mush. You hear me? Take them back.
Now, I knew my Pittsburgh guys always wanted guns, and since I was going to see them later in the afternoon to pick up a delivery, I was pretty sure I'd get my money back.
Goodfellas is currently available to stream on Max. Thank you for listening to me talk about my favorite films. If you haven't already, I highly recommend you check them out.